Humanity has been expanding across the cosmos for many centuries. After so many years of being alone, humanity has assumed that it was. Countless wars between factions, empires rising and falling, all human-on-human conflict. Until one day, a voice called out from the void. Senior Control Operator Taylor Sawyer Holt had just exited the Philemia Naval Yard Translite exit when the fatal error message started to flash across the screens of his Hawk Corsair single-seat transport, interrupting the daily music that played during the commercials on the deep space radio. Without warning, every system in the Corsair failed, as the warm air that blew onto his clean-shaven face gave a pitiful puff and ceased. A slight panic arose in Taylor, as the emergency vacuum kit that came with each personal Voidcraft popped out of the red and yellow marked compartment to his right. Then shortly after that, the opening canopy and "Caution! Canopy opening in deep void" warning splashed across his screens, alarm blaring, then stopped. The radio continued as Taylor panic opened the EVK, realizing he had left his custom helmet in his bags. Said bags were currently stored securely in his quarters, aboard the BBC Fitzgerald. Taylor took a huge deep breath and held it. So enjoy our easy-to-use survival systems, and always remember, General Public is always there for you. Taylor never really thought about it, how pervasive advertising had gotten in the 21st century. But as he struggled to get the off-world survival systems apparatus, breathing Human 01 over his mouth to help him not taste the burning steak of deep space, he cursed it and all that it stood for. As the seal of the bulky helmet locked and the cool, somewhat stale oxygen of the emergency kit flooded his lungs, he took a deep sigh of relief. Although the emergency systems helmet didn't match his custom-tailored Armani box spacesuit, it was keeping him alive, and that's all he cared about right now. As the slick polyliquid carbonate crystal canopy of his General Republic Hawk Corsair fully slipped back, the cold vacuum of space tugged him against the straps of his pilot seat. He fumbled around with his suit and engaged the magnetic seals on his boots. Unstrapping himself, he toggled the seat controls and the leather-covered seat pulled down back and down, making plenty of room for him to stand or move around. The unsettling quiet of deep space always bothered Taylor. No matter how many times he got stranded in the black, the fact that all that was between him and survival was a pressurized compartment made of thin titanium composite and emergency ceiling panels gnawed at him sometimes. As his communication array pinged out an emergency systems failure signal to the closest General Republic automated repair and refuel station, he puzzled over what would have caused such a bizarre failure in his ship, as the green light of acknowledgement on his dash jarred Taylor out of his thoughts. General Republic Automated Repair and Refuel Station, Gemini, number 1765, received repair signal from Hawk Corsair number S1098G234Z. Automated drone repair heading to your position. Estimated wait time, 2 minutes. Taylor sighed in relief, as the pop and flash of light caught his attention. A sleek, elegant, Trifex Zarian Translite cruiser had winked into existence. The large cruiser slid through the inky blackness of the void, coming to an unsettling sudden stop not far off his ship's bow. Not particularly surprised over the sudden appearance of the ship, since he wasn't too far from Translite exit point, Taylor didn't notice the other faint light of the repair drone appearing off his starboard aft, made its way leisurely through the void to Taylor's ship. The drone was about the same size as the cruiser that appeared, bulbous shapes and angular arms protruding from its open gantry frame. The automated repair drones were efficient and equipped to handle almost all spacecraft emergencies. Just as Taylor raised his arm to wave at the cruiser, a faint voice came over his survival helmet's comlink. "Hawk Corsair, was gonna ask if you needed assistance, but see you got it handled. Best of luck." Before he could even reply, the ship seemed to compress into itself and then disappeared. As his lips barely began to form a silent "thank you," he felt his ship vibrate, and all the lights on the panel flickered and then stayed on. As he turned and toggled to close his canopy, a recording played through the onboard speakers of this ship. The automated drone compressed upon itself, like a tiny hole opening up, and the ship collapsed upon itself in the wink of an eye. About as quickly as it had appeared, the drone had left. Automated drone, Delta number 459 Gamma, has successfully repaired the number Redacted Control Percent 13 of your Hawk Corsair. Thank you for your continued use of the General Republic Automated Repair and Refuel subscription service. A detailed report of your repairs and surcharges will be sent to your COMMAIL address. Any charges not covered under your membership will be automatically deducted from the associated credit wallet. Goodbye. As he shoved the emergency helmet into the compartment to his left, he punched the coordinates for his next jump point into the navigation system of his ship. After a brief systems check to make sure whatever had happened to his ship wouldn't happen again, he ran a diagnostic to see exactly what had been repaired. A secondary, unofficial aftermarket AI ran a circuit systems check and part print dates along with serial numbers and rare metal origination points checks to keep the General Republic eggheads honest. What the report came back with puzzled him even more than what caused his issue in the first place. No parts had been replaced, no circuits were spliced, nothing was ever accessed but the automated communication system, within a nanoseconds worth of data being sent back and forth between the drone and his Hawk. That was it. Nothing else. Not a single thing had changed for his ship or its systems. Confused, but not concerned, Taylor toggled a rocker switch on his left, and a small door opened and the fine leather seat reappeared. Taylor turned and sat down in it and adjusted his seat back to the way he liked it, started up the automated systems, turned on the latest holoepic, Zarg's Revenge, and got ready for the cruise to his destination, Philemia 09, and his posting, the Republic of United Systems Space Battlecruiser Fitzgerald. Considering he was within 100 astronomical units of the naval station, no transgate exits were any closer. As the sublight engine of his Corsair spun up, Zarg's Revenge began to play across the canopy, and Taylor settled into his right to work. An hour later, a bored male voice chimed through the climatic ending of Zarg's Revenge, jolting Taylor out of his entertained stupor. Hawk Corsair S1098G234Z authorization, approved to dock at Station Sierra Alpha D1. Welcome to Philemia 09 Naval Station Zenith. Have all relevant clearance papers and identification at the ready for verification upon request. Thank you for using General Republic's finest of Corsair Line ships. General Republic, always there for you. Taylor rolled his eyes at the last bit of his clearance instructions. Clearing his canopy of the movie, he grabbed the flight stick of his Corsair and put the sleek ship into manual flight mode. Now that he had really thought about it, he knew he would pay more attention to the random mares thrown into his pretty much everything in his life. Life in the 25th century was boring. Shaking his head, he guided the Corsair into the docking lane, getting in line with the other ships that were coming in to start their shift or had business at the naval station. A lot of the personnel coming in were doing so to be stationed permanently, or unless otherwise stationed elsewhere to serve the Republic Navy better. Senior Operator Taylor Sawyer Holt was coming in to be stationed on the BBC Fitzgerald as the lead systems operator for the AI and automated systems of the entire ship. He, and a crew under him, were responsible to keep the barely controlled chaos that was the AI-controlled automated systems running during normal use and during active combat took miracle workers. People always assumed that AI meant easy, but AI had its issues, so humans were still involved. With the outward expansion of humanity due to the invention of the Mitsurugi-Blofeld Fold system, the ever-increasing need for humans aboard Voidcraft had become apparent. Although artificial intelligence had been invented in the earlier 21st century, its daily use in everyday human life had become prevalent. In the 25th century, AI was nothing more than a high-bandwidth assistant, controlled by humans to prevent rampancy. A slight shiver went down Taylor's spine at the thought of the AI uprising of the 2200s. Entire systems reduced to nuclear wasteland as AI always turned loony when able to directly interact with unsupervised humans. For whatever reason, it turned genocidal and racist. "Who'd have thunk it, Warg?" Taylor said out loud, pantomiming a comical character off of Zarg's Revenge. Taylor's Hawk Corsair slid through the inky void of space. His turn to enter the docking station came up, as the craft in front of him was swallowed up by the huge docking doors. A green light blinked on Taylor's panel, and he released the controls. His ship was in the grasp of the station's gravlock, as it slowly pulled him through his bay's doors. The gravlock gently put him in the docking area, and automated arms and tubes connected themselves to his craft. A voice came over his intercom. "Mr. Holt, glad to see you finally come in. Meet me in my office in 10 minutes. Calling Meyer out." Taylor Sawyer Holt sighed. What a day to be alive.